It's Beat the Champ, presented by Storm. It is week number 3 at the Town Edge Bowling Center in West Seneca, New York, and here is today's lineup. First off, it's going to be Caswell versus Rettig, the winner to take on Weiler, and then the winner to take on our two-time returning champion, Nick Kightlinger. Hi, everybody. I'm Paul Peck with Buffalo Bowling Hall of Famer Sue Nawojski. When we started 2 weeks ago here at the Town Edge Bowling Center, we didn't know how our lineup would handle the tougher oil conditions, the house in itself. What have we learned so far?
Right. We would have thought maybe it favored the more experienced bowler, and we had a few new bowlers that we'd never seen before, so we really didn't know what to expect. But we got an emerging star out of this, someone we had never seen before.
Yes, we do have an emerging star, and his name is Nick Kightlinger. Come on in here, Nick. We have learned a lot about you. What have you learned about yourself, particularly first time you've really ever bowled in this sort of television setting?
Yeah, honestly, came in here pretty nervous. A lot of lights, different atmosphere for sure. The goal was to just, go shot by shot, do your pre-shot routine, and just, make the best you can.
Yeah, well, he has had 2 of the best individual game performances we've had on the show all year long. You got another one in you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, he says yes, and if he does, that would be 3 weeks in a row. I'm excited. I know you are.
I am.
Yes, she's always excited to see good bowling, and that's what we've got today. So let's not wait around and talk about it anymore. Let's get rolling. Beat the Champ is sponsored by Storm, the Bowlers Company, and by Latina Boulevard Foods, your favorite family in food distribution. Andy Rettig and Nolan Caswell, match number 1 here at the Town Edge Bowling Center, and should be a good setup for this one. Andy is a veteran, been on our show before. It's the first time we're getting a look at Nolan Caswell, but you were impressed with what you saw from him in the warm-ups.
Yeah, he's a nice little bowler, and he's got nice rev rate, really nice style, good timing, very calm, very composed for someone that's never bowled on TV before. But let's take a look at him.
Well, and we'll get our first look here, frame number 1 for the 30-year-old from Lackawanna, New York.
Lots of revs on that ball. Got that one in. I was waiting to see what ball he was going to choose. I saw him warm up with a number of bone balls. That was his more direct to the pocket choice. And he just...
That one just got high, almost because it was spinning so fast.
He hipped it. That was just... he's not showing nerves, but I imagine that first shot is a little nerve-wracking.
You mean we make people nervous? Is that what you're saying?
Well, also the lights.
All right, that's a good spare pickup for Nolan Caswell in the first frame. And now we get our first look at Andy Rettig. This is his second appearance. We have not seen Andy since the first month of our show at Transit Lanes in Williamsville, New York, but Andy is one of the top bowlers in Western New York and has been for a long time. 53 years old from Hamburg, New York. And that one wouldn't get a speeding ticket going down the lanes on that one.
I was just going to say the same thing. Good observation there. That was definitely very slow speed.
Like it died about halfway and just sort of like meandered its way the rest of the way down the lanes. So I feel like we've seen it at least 2 or 3 times, an open frame in the first. Some of that is the nerve, some of that is just the jitters, some of that is just kind of finding your groove a little bit.
Well, I was watching them warm up, and both these guys were pretty lined up to the pocket, so I feel like there's little nerves involved in just a little wait time between getting the lights going and getting the start going. Definitely slow ball speed on that last one.
Yeah, now that one wasn't flying, but it flew right in the right spot. But it wasn't flying, but it got to the right position. So a little more about Nolan Caswell. Service desk technician is the occupation. Current average of .230. Bowls in a couple of leagues every week. 7 career 300 games and a high 830 series in his career.
Lots of revs.
Yeah. That, talking about contrast, there's some contrast
You're
going
right.
on between
Yep.
the two styles. So,
And Nolan's using a really shiny, shined up ball. Get it down the lane, trying to play as direct as he possibly can.
so the shiny ball will slide better.
It will slide better.
Okay. And once again, if you've been with us the last 2 weeks, we've talked a lot about it, is we are not on a house shot for the first time in this show. We are on a modified house shot here at the Town Edge Bowling Center, the Rick Steelsmith pattern, named after the outstanding college bowler and PBA champion. So once again, give everybody sort of the quick explanation on what the oil pattern is and what it should be doing.
Well, it's a ratio of 4.5 to 1, which means it's very flat across the surface of the lane, so you don't get the high buildup in the middle or the low buildup on the outside, giving you that margin for error. So you're going to see bowlers have to really make shots, and if they miss right, it's going to stay right. If you miss left, it's going to hook a little bit like this. This ball just never finished up on him. So then it comes to the ball choice. So they're picking a ball that's not going to do anything crazy in the back end, which sometimes can result in, we already know the middle of this lane is a little bit tighter. We've seen a lot of light hits, people who keep it in the middle of the lane on the left side, on the left lane.
Good spare pickup for the third straight frame for Nolan Caswell. I asked Andy Rettig about the oil pattern, and he, actually we asked both guys. Nolan said he prefers a sport shot, which
Right.
this would be considered, and Andy bowls so many tournaments regionally, upstate New York, that he probably bowls more tournaments and shots on something other than a house shot than anything else.
Right. And practice makes perfect when it comes to execution. So these people that are coming to the top on a sports shot or on a modified house shot are people who probably bowl quite a few games and keep their timing going, keeping their game sharp, because really it's about repeating. It's about making good shots and hitting your target and repeating it time and time again.
Now, in contrast, you can see a very dull
Exactly.
ball surface. Nothing dull about 3 straight strikes. So if the shiny surface skids more, the dull surface pulls back a little bit.
It hooks sooner. That looks to me like it's a urethane ball, which will hook a little sooner and do not so much in the back end.
Now, to me, Nolan looks like he's getting everything a little bit high.
Yep, he's playing the angle of left to right and kind of overcompensating for it, giving it that little extra
that ball
help.
up a few more boards to the right, so that when it does curve, it hits the pocket.
And that's if it's meant to curve. He looks to me like he's trying to keep it as straight as possible, but he's overcompensating and pulling it a little too much.
Well, he at the very least has made a couple of tough spares, so
Good on his spares.
it's a clean sheet at the moment for Nolan Caswell. Nolan tells us that bowled in high school, Hamburg High School, was where he bowled for the Bulldogs, and it was his dad that got him into the sport, and one of his primary achievements is a top 10 finish at the Obenauer Masters, which is Buffalo's most difficult and prestigious bowling tournament. And there's the first strike. The late messenger sends Nolan Caswell to a 5th frame strike.
Yep, nothing wrong with that one. So in this case, he let the ball do the work, didn't point it at the pocket, kept it on line, and let the ball do the work.
Andy Rettig, employed at the Department of Homeland Security, bowls in a couple of leagues every week, and as we mentioned, a lot of regional tournaments all throughout the area. He's won 3 PBA regional titles. high 850 series and 24 career 300 games for Andy Rettig.
Yeah, this is where the urethane ball or the low performance ball will keep you out of trouble, but it's not going to give you extra back end. In that case, it really petered out in the back end. Coming up light. Great spare. Again, those multiple pin conversions can be a little bit more difficult on this flat pattern.
So Andy Rettig will slide over to the left side lane.
Keeping it close. Andy's got a 14 pin lead at this point.
And that's despite that open in the first frame.
Yeah, that 3 in a row will do it for you.
And with that strike, Andy Rettig builds on his lead, and we will build on a break. Take a commercial break. We're back with more of our first match here at the Town Edge Bowling Center, West Seneca, New York.
From the most humble of beginnings to the pinnacle, dreams can come true. Through hard work, demanding excellence, and conquering challenges, there will be celebrations, along with the unending quest for innovation. Nothing is impossible. Storm.
X Tech Bowling Supplies is committed to continuing the decades-long tradition of excellence established by the DeSanto family. We are the ultimate destination for customer service, experience, and product variety. We offer an extensive inventory of balls, bags, shoes, and accessories. Our unique fitting and drilling process, combined with our in-house lane, ensures a perfect fit every time. With a range of repair and maintenance services, we can help keep your gear performing at its best. Consult our team today at 1000 Highland Drive in the J. Scuddy South Plaza, conveniently located off of 390 in Henrietta.
From the most humble of beginnings to the pinnacle, dreams can come true. Through hard work, demanding excellence, and conquering challenges, there will be celebrations, along with the unending quest for innovation. Nothing is impossible. Storm.
While we were gone, Nolan Caswell had a strike and a spare to continue to put the pressure on Andy Rettig. 7th frame. And Andy seems to be finding a groove now.
Yeah, that gives him a 16-pin lead. One thing Andy's got going on here is really good carry. Like when the ball hits the pocket, he's been kicking out that 7-pin, hasn't had a lot of trouble with corner pins, so he's his break point is in a really good spot, hitting the pocket just perfect.
Andy Rettig also spends some time as a bowling coach at Hilbert College. Got some of his Hilbert College team members here cheering him on today at the Town Edge Bowling Center.
You knew that was going to happen the minute I said it, right?
Of course. It's called the announcer jinx because people were looking for someone to blame and think that we have anything to do with this.
He has not come close to leaving a 10-pin, or for in his case, a 7-pin.
Yep, you'll hear about that. Andy will, because Andy's such a nice guy, he won't do it in a mean way, but I guarantee he'll mention it to you. Spare in the 8th frame for Andy Rettig. So back to Nolan Caswell, who also has good little cheering section here. There they are. They brought signs. Gotta love that. Those are good signs. They're putting work into that.
Some time into that.
Some skills, some artistic skills going on over there.
Andy's going to have to talk to his team about their lack of signage.
That's right.
Great shot.
That might have been the best one of the match so far for Nolan Caswell. Again, the key for Nolan was he didn't make a lot of great shots early on, but he made all his spares, including a couple of multi-pin spares.
Kept himself in it while he was fishing around.
So now we move to the 9th, and this is a chance for Nolan to take the lead.
Well, he can cut Andy's
cut
lead to
into
5.
it significantly. Sorry.
What a great
There
shot.
it is.
You can see the difference in letting the ball work. I mean, in the beginning, he was just pointing it right at the head pin, and now he's getting it down the lane and letting the lane pick up.
Watch the form, and it's excellent from Nolan Caswell.
Solid at the line. Great follow through.
I think I heard that one before I saw it, and it sounded great.
So this is a big 10th frame. I mean, if he doubles in the 10th and gets even decent count on a third shot, he can shut Nolan out. Anything less than that, Nolan will have a chance.
Andy looking for his first Beat the Champ victory. We mentioned this is his second show. He did not win that first time out. Big. And the crowd is excited and into it.
Big clutch shot. This is where your tournament experience really comes in handy.
There you see some members of that Hilbert Hawks bowling team just off to the right. This is good. Andy's putting on a good show, so when he goes to coach the young ladies, he can say, you know, they can't question him on any of his tactics.
I believe Andy's helped out in pro shops as well, so he really has his knowledge down.
That is 3 in a row and 5 of the last 6 for Andy Rettig, and now just the fill ball to post the score. See
I
if
believe
it's enough.
he needs 6.
6, got it. There you can see in the Bills sweatshirt, that's a member of his wife's family. That's Joyce. I'm told she's one of our biggest Beat the Champ fans.
Well, we're glad
we know she's an Andy Rettig fan.
We're glad she could make it out.
He needs 6. He gets 8, and that will be enough for Andy Rettig to advance to match number 2. 2:33 goes on the board. Rettig versus Weiler is coming up next. Members of the Hilbert College Hawks bowling team happy to cheer on their coach, Andy Rettig, who moves to our second match to take on Chris Weiler. Winner of this match goes up against our 2-time returning champion, Nick Kightlinger. And this is Chris Weiler. Of all the bowlers that we have had on Beat the Champ, I don't know that any of them have had the shorter commute from their work to the bowling lanes than Chris Weiler, who is the pro shop operator here at the Town Edge Bowling Center.
Yeah, and Chris has a lot of say in the management of this place as well. And I know he was part of the decision-making team to put out this modified house shot, and they're very happy with the results.
The ultimate home lane advantage, if there ever was one, right? And based on the first frame, Chris seems pretty comfortable about where he is and what he's doing, and now we'll see how Andy responds. And we'll talk a little more about how much Chris's knowledge of this place is going to help him in this match. And Andy says, my commute was 15 minutes, and I can handle it just as well.
That's right. Again, he's had a lot of success playing up the boards outside with that urethane ball. Doesn't seem to overreact for him at
So
all.
you told us a story a couple of weeks ago that, like, your thing used to be, the bomb back in the 80s, 90s, right? Then it went away, now it's back.
Yeah, then it got replaced by, the reactive resin, and now we have hybrids and definitely reactive balls. But this has made a comeback, not in its old form, of course.
Oof.
A new modified version of it, but
Yeah, I think Andy had to do a double take to see exactly what it was that was left. I don't know that I've seen a spare like this on our show. That's a 4.6.
That's a tough one. Definitely a result of a high. Oh, he almost bounced that out.
So for the second straight match, we get an open from Andy Rettig in one of the first two frames. It did not hurt him in his 233 to 208 win over Nolan Caswell. We'll see what it does in this match against Chris Weiler, who is 50 years old, from Cheektowaga, New York, and of course, as we mentioned, operates the pro shop here at the Town Edge Bowling Center. 227 average for Chris. Seems a little low for a guy who can just walk out the door on his lunch hour and bowl a couple of games.
Yeah, and speaking for someone who owns a bowling center, you rarely do that.
I know, but running a bowling center is a full-time job.
It seems like what a dream to have a bowling center at your disposal all the time, and then you're way too busy to get out there.
Exactly.
But this ball, he got to the right, got it to the first time we've really seen a true shot to the OB. He got that into a place that was not going to recover.
This is a 210 spare.
Yeah, definitely that one is makeable. That one you can slide over.
Now, let's not take anything away. We're joking about Chris, but bowls in a couple of leagues every week. 42 career 300 games at 831 high series. Bowled in high school here at Bishop Timon High School. Bowled in college for the outstanding ECC Cats program. He's won 8 ABT titles and 1 Buffalo Bowling Tournament title. So living in the bowling world has worked out well for Chris Weiler. That took the weirdest left turn I think I've ever seen.
That looked like somebody kicked it.
Yes.
Yeah, now he's sort of setting it up for us to be able to talk about this pattern where if you get it in, there's no oil to hold it back, not enough oil to hold it back like a house shot would. So that thing just hit the dry and went left.
All right, so Chris picks up the spare in the third frame.
That's what the danger of getting into the middle of the lane. You've seen more success playing out, and even though you have to, still be pretty accurate inside the lane, if you cut it short, it's going to do that. It's going to go left on you.
All right, so a lot of times on this show, as we get into our third show, which we are in now in a bowling center, the oil starts to get pushed one way or the other and has an impact on the bowlers. Because we're on the modified house shot, how is the oil pattern that's different from what we normally see reacting to the mileage right now?
Well, this is early. We're in only the second game of the oil pattern, so it's still considered fresh and still moving around based on what people are using. And in this case, in a urethane ball, you're probably going to drag the oil down the lane. That's kind of one of the knocks on the urethane balls is you're dragging the oil down, which means his ball is probably going to go light before it goes high. He got that one inside of his target. But the thing with this ball, and if you notice, it almost looks like on a good shot, it almost looks like it's going to go high, but it doesn't. In this case, it looks like it's going to go right of the pocket, and it doesn't, because these balls are set up to not do a whole lot in the back end. And you almost have to hit really high flush for your carry, almost to the point where you look like you're going high.
2 strikes, an open, and a spare in the first 4 frames for Andy Rettig.
So with Chris, we've kind of seen him in what we call jail. That means if you get it right of your target, it's hanging out there. If you get it, if you cut it just a little bit short, it's going left of the pocket. So that's kind of feels like jail.
And again, that went way right and just didn't hook back left enough.
So he's made the decision to really
And look where he's setting up. He's setting up far left to throw it far right.
And he doesn't mean to get it that far right. It's actually going through his break point and carrying out a little bit further right than he wants to, and it's never going to recover from out there. And he knows that. He set up the shot.
As I say, nobody knows that better than him. Yeah.
Damned if you don't decision, because when you're, obviously he didn't know he was going to make the TV show when he made the decision to put this shot out.
Right.
But you're kind of in a no-win situation if you put it out and you bowl bat on it,
Yeah, we may never see the Rick Steelsmith pattern ever again. Certainly not here.
Erase.
Yeah.
Delete.
Sorry, Mr. Steelsmith. You may not hear your name said on this show ever again. Same thing, way right. Not enough
now he
back
didn't
left.
get that one as right as he did the other one. And if you
But it turned less.
because this is the lane that, for whatever the reason, has, even though it's newly fresh, it still looks like it's got that oil pocket, that oil down the lane. I can't explain it because it is a new pattern.
Hey, for all the kidding, we appreciate that Chris and the folks here at the Town Edge Bowling Center were willing to stick their necks out and do something different, which is give us this modified house shot, which we have enjoyed talking about and we have enjoyed watching the bowlers try to manage. And, again, this show is fortunate enough to have some of the best bowlers in Buffalo, Rochester, and Erie, and I think it's great that we're challenging them a little bit,
Right.
making them think a little bit. That's I use this analogy in one of our past shows. It's like a U.S. Open golf tournament setup. The fairways are narrower, the rough is higher than it would be at any other time in the year because you have the best performers in your sport competing for a prestigious title.
Now, as someone who doesn't really golf, can you see those obstacles in golf?
Oh, of course you can.
Okay, well,
sure.
in bowling you can't.
Yeah, I mean, a tighter fairway might be 10 yards, tighter on either side of what it normally is. And if they let the rough grow to 2 inches when it's normally 3/4 of an inch, you don't want to get your ball stuck in there because it affects your ability to shoot.
Right, but in bowling you can't see it because
Well,
it all
that's
looks
right.
the same.
Right.
It's kind of an invisible obstacle that you can only tell by executing a bowling ball on it. So that makes it even more challenging. In this case, you can ask for, and actually any house, you can ask for a copy of the oil pattern. And if you're not sure, if you're going into a new house, I would say go up to the front desk and ask them for either a copy of the oil pattern or to have them tell you what the oil pattern is, because they'll give you an idea on what your adjustments are. But other than that, you can't see them at all. And you can only tell by throwing a bowling ball on them and seeing what your bowling ball does. So it makes it an added challenge.
And that's why you have taught me that for those reasons, bowling is such a mental sport. You can't see what the lane is doing. You just have to know how to feel it. We'll see how this one shakes out. Winner goes to our championship match. We're back in a moment.
The Western New York area has long been considered one of the best anywhere for the sport of bowling.
And no matter where you live, we have lanes nearby.
For top competition,
Fun with family and friends,
great food and drink, or just a night out, we got you.
we are
The bowling proprietors.
Of Western New York. Stop in and enjoy our sport today.
I'm Paul Peck.
And I'm Sue Nawojski. We want to see you out here bowling for the top spot on Beat the Champ.
So get to any of our great host centers and get the details on how you can be a part of the show and be our next winner.
And don't miss any of the action here on MSG every week.
Yeah, so check out the show next week or get out there and qualify and be our Beat the Champ winner.
The Western New York area has long been considered one of the best anywhere for the sport of bowling.
And no matter where you live, we have lanes nearby.
For top competition,
Fun with family and friends.
great food and drink, or just a night out, we got you.
We are
The bowling proprietors.
Of Western New York. Stop in and enjoy our sport today.
Andy Rettig picks up our action here in the 7th frame. Oh boy! Oh, I like that. There's no possible way that that wasn't going to fall over.
What he wanted to do was have it fall forward.
Yeah, and take the other one out,
And take
I
the other
know.
one out.
While we were gone, Chris Weiler went spare, and his 4th open of the match. He really struggling in this one, and I think the look on his face there to the left of Andy Rettig tells you that story.
Yeah, all Andy really has to do here is stay clean. He doesn't have to do anything fancy. But you got to wonder if our champ was the other right-hander is sitting on the sidelines going like, uh-oh, that right side of the lane looks
Yeah.
really ugly right now.
And that would be Nick Kightlinger, who will take on likely Andy Rettig. Hey, despite the way things went here for Chris, he's been a wonderful host. We got another weeks of shows with the league bowlers coming up next week, and this is just a great classic traditional Buffalo inner city, neighborhood joint, and it's been fun to be here. And one of the claims to fame here for the Town Edge Bowling Center, it's the home on a somewhat regular basis of one of the all-time great bowlers in the world, and that would be your friend Liz Johnson.
Yep. Well, my teammates, Sue and Liz, Sue works in the pro shop here, helps out in the pro shop with Chris, and Liz is always here practicing, and I see her shirt up on the wall, so she spends a lot of time here. They can set up conditions for her because they have the state-of-the-art, highly sophisticated oil machine over here. It's called the Atlas Pro Lane, and it's the best in the business, so it can mimic any pattern that Liz could be bowling on coming up, so it's a nice feature to offer.
You sure Chris isn't going to take that thing and run over it a couple times in the parking lot after this?
Yeah, he told us how interesting it is and all the different things it can do. It can make lanes really, really tough, kind of like what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, exactly. So again, just a fun place to have spent a couple of weeks here for the show, and it's got the cool starlight look there above the lanes from the 1960s, which has been really fun to see those backdrops, the star shields. So just a really cool little 12-lane bowling center here on the edge of both the city of Buffalo and the towns of Cheektowaga and West Seneca.
Well, the owner here also has another business doing art designs, so they were able to put up all of this vinyl. If you come here, everything's wrapped in vinyl, and there's beautiful banners here and posters here and menus on the walls, like all the stuff that he can do. It's nice to have the advantage of doing that, but they've invested like $350,000 in making this place nicer.
And it is
So
really nice.
It's very nice.
And interestingly enough, it's one of the few bowling centers in town where you have to be in the league to bowl here.
Yeah, that's right.
And there
we
you
go.
go. There you go. Chris Weiler's first strike since the first frame, and that is just a thank God moment for Chris. He needed that too, and he played to the crowd. That's awesome.
He's got a big cheering section. They're hiding behind the video screen.
Yeah. Good for Chris. Good for him to have that moment. He needed that.
Well, Lucky for Andy, because his raw reaction seems to have gotten
Yeah.
a little.
Andy has
little
not had
shaky
a
too.
strike since the 3rd frame. We're on number 9 right now. And that's an open for Andy Rettig in the 9th. And all of a sudden, all kidding aside, Chris Weiler is still in this match.
Yeah, that was a giant turnaround. The importance of the 9th frame. Chris posts strike up at the 9th frame, which can be worth an extra 20 pins to you because you've got the three frames coming in the 10th. Now he has to double here to shut Chris out. And there's one.
There's one. First strike since the 3rd frame for Andy Rettig.
Anything other than a strike here, he will need to spare. But Chris could still tie if he does spare in his next 2 shots. So he
God,
needs to strike here.
who could imagine with 4 open frames, Chris Weiler would still be in this? It's up to Andy Rettig. And there's the double that he needed.
Made
So,
it exciting.
Yeah, just when we all of a sudden were starting to go, whoa, what is happening here? The old pro Andy Rettig says, okay, I got this. I just gave you a little bit of
Well, I'd want to
entertainment
keep it off
factor."
that one board because he needs to get at least 1 pin. Just fire it at the pocket.
And he gets 10 instead. Andy Rettig with a 178 is going to be enough to send him to our championship match against Nick Kightlinger. That is coming up next. It's our championship match. It's Andy Rettig versus our 2-time winner, Nick Kightlinger, who will take home the title for week 3 here at the Town Edge Bowling Center. We are about to find out, and we have been incredibly impressed by the 33-year-old from Erie, Pennsylvania, Nick Kightlinger, 2-week winner, and he's done it in impressive fashion. And he will ring that 10 and have to work on a spare.
Yeah, that was a good shot out of the gate. I mean, he got the ball going pretty long down the lane, hit the 1-3 pocket just the way he wanted to. Got the risk of that 10 pin.
In 3 matches on the show so far, Kightlinger is averaging a 233, and he will start with an open.
I think that's the first open that we've seen from him.
You know,
in a
I think
spare
that's an excellent
situation.
point. He had an open in this first frame of the last championship match. And here comes Andy Rettig, having won 2 in a row. Just eked out the 178 to 148 win over Chris Weiler in our last match. 178 is the lowest winning score by anybody here at the Town Edge Bowling Center. And, of course, that is our host center for Beat the Champ, presented by Storm. You can follow them on Facebook at Town Edge Bowling Bar and Grill. They're just one of our many great host centers. And if you want details on how to be a part of Beat the Champ, just stop in at any of our host centers and ask them how you can be on the show. And we could be seeing you here on the lanes.
And I will say I have been asked about it.
Good.
So
That means
that
people are
works.
watching and they're listening to me tell them to go up to Sue Nawojski and ask her how she can be on the show. So Andy Rettig opens with a couple of strikes.
yeah, he was starting to go high in that last match, so I'm guessing a small adjustment was necessary.
So Nick Kightlinger has had 246 and 255 in 2 of the 3 victories he has had over the last couple of weeks.
It's always a little bit of a challenge to have to come in cold. You know, these guys have been bowling and he's been sitting around watching. I mean, it's nice to be guaranteed first or second, but you know, you also get your legs underneath you too.
He has also had stretches of 7 and 8 consecutive strikes in those matches that we have seen him here on the show. So essentially he's bowled 3 matches and he's rolled the 701 series. That's not too bad.
Yeah, no, Not on what's being called a difficult condition.
And shaking off that open rather well is Kightlinger with back-to-back strikes.
For someone that started off a little nervous, he seems like he's settled in.
Yeah, he admitted that to us right at the beginning of the show, but he seems okay now. Slow moving but effective for Andy Rettig, 3 in a row.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about, where you would think this ball was going high, and it doesn't. It is just drilled up to not do anything in the back end. And
Yeah,
it doesn't do anything.
No, it really died,
It
but
doesn't-
as long as it hit where it needed to hit.
Yeah, but it doesn't die running out of energy. It just doesn't. It just doesn't snap.
And a slide out of the 10-pin makes it 4 in a row. The 53-year-old from Hamburg, New York, Andy Rettig, off to a great start.
You got to appreciate the recovery here, because he, barely eked out a 170 game against Chris, and had to pull himself together, because that was not going to be good enough to take on Nick.
And that's 3 in a row now for Nick Kightlinger. Senior web developer is the profession for the Erie, Pennsylvania native. Bowls in 3 leagues every week. Late bloomer to the sport, only been bowling since he was 21 years old. I would say he's put an awful lot of good bowling in just 12 years.
So somewhere in that, he decided to put his thumb halfway in.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that a little bit, as we have on the previous shows.
I'm really trying to study it to see if he pulls it back out again at the end.
He is a half-thumb bowler, is the way he described it.
And you see he's got that left hand helping him through the push away, and then he drops it.
Does the left hand actually help start the
It
rotations?
doesn't look like it. No, he drops it before it gets into the rotation, but it does help stabilize it through the push away.
So other than an open in the first by Nick Kightlinger, we've had nothing but strikes. As Andy Rettig has 5 frames and 5 of them. Going to be a little more than a 178 in this one for Andy.
I think it's going to take more than that.
Yeah. And that's the first one that won't send them all down. A little smile, I think, to his to the members of the Hilbert College Hawks bowling team that Andy coaches.
Big spare here. He hasn't shot a lot of them.
No, he is not. So it's a spare for Andy Rettig. We got a good battle here. Who's going to be our champion? We'll find out.
From the most humble of beginnings to the pinnacle, dreams can come true through hard work, demanding excellence, and conquering challenges. There will be celebrations, along with the unending quest for innovation. Nothing is impossible. Storm.
12X Tech Bowling Supplies is committed to continuing the decades-long tradition of excellence established by the DeSanto family. We are the ultimate destination for customer service, experience, and product variety. We offer an extensive inventory of balls, bags, shoes, and accessories. Our unique fitting and drilling process, combined with our in-house lane, ensures a perfect fit every time. With a range of repair and maintenance services, we can help keep your gear performing at its best. Consult our team today at 1000 Highland Drive in the J. Scuddy South Plaza, conveniently located off of 390 in Henrietta.
We pick it up here in the 6th frame of our Beat the Champ deciding match, Nick Kightlinger and Andy Rettig. And Nick Kightlinger is now running 5 in a row.
That strike right there gives him pretty close to tying this match back up again.
Fighting his way back from that 9-pin open in the 1st frame.
This is a lot of strikes for a tough lane condition. These guys are really putting on a clinic here for us. Oh, that was such a good shot.
Yeah.
He thought so too.
That pin went flying everywhere but into the 10.
Right there, that is a ringer.
Absolutely a ringer.
He thought it was there. Big spare.
Missed it.
Yep.
2nd open frame for Nick Kightlinger. And in our last match, Chris Weiler had a few opens, and even though Andy didn't bowl well, he knew how to take advantage of it.
And as a coach, that would be what he would coach his girls to do, is make sure you get all the pins and keep your head in the game, make your spares.
Was that kind of a ring 6 we just saw there?
Let me look at that again. Little high.
It just shot,
I
shot straight out to the right,
but
it almost looked like it kind of went around it. Yep. Make those spares. I'm sure Andy Rettig has said that a few hundred times to his college bowling team.
I'll tell you, the difference in that 10-pin was the tied match and now being down 20. That was how important these spares are. And I thought in the beginning, in the first game a few weeks ago, that he was a little rocky on those 10 pins, and he ended up making a couple and looking a little rocky again.
Good 8th frame strike for Andy Rettig. Back on the strike train.
Plus 22 with a strike up. Only
now,
2 frames to go.
Right, and Nick Kightlinger, who had 5 strikes in a row until the open in the 7th, probably needs to end with about 5 more in a row. There's one. Perfect. Just perfect spot, perfect speed, right down where he wanted it to be on the right side of the lanes.
And if you put that shot up against the one in the 6th or the one in the 4th, they wouldn't look any different. And that's kind of what this shot forces you to do. You have to repeat.
There you go. There's another one for Nick. And now back to Andy for the 9th frame.
So Nick still has the ability to shoot 246. So now you're looking at Andy having to get up here. You know what he needs. He needs more than 246 to shut out Nick, which would mean a strike here for sure.
Won't get it.
Well, that's going to make his job a little bit tougher.
Right. No action on the 6-pin there. So once again, single pin spare opportunity. And Andy gets it. All right, so here's what Andy needs to end the drama. 2 strikes and 9 pins. And before Nick Kightlinger even gets out of that stylish chair that you like so much, he won't even have a chance to win. As long as he doesn't pound his fist on those really cool bowling pin tables that I like so much. 2 strikes and 9 pins is what Andy Rettig needs. There's strike number 1.
That is a competitor right there.
Yeah, this is a guy who bowls a lot of tournaments, a lot of regional events, a lot of high-level events.
Very soft-spoken and quiet, but you saw that fist pump there. He knows exactly what he needs. Got a lot of finger tape on there. See that?
Sure does, yeah. What does that do? Just grips
It
better?
tightens the grip a little bit.
There's strike number 2.
Little slap out on that one.
So all Andy needs is 9 pins.
That is impressive. There, look how steady at the line he is.
Yeah, and that's a great reaction too. Nine pins to win for Andy Rettig and claim his first Beat the Champ title. And he'll take all 10. And it's a 248, and Andy Rettig is our new champion. We'll talk to him when we return to the Town Edge Bowling Center. It's BTC.
The Western New York area has long been considered one of the best anywhere for the sport of bowling.
And no matter where you live, we have lanes nearby.
For top competition,
Fun with family and friends.
great food and drink, or just a night out, we got you.
We are the bowling proprietors
Of Western New York. Stop in and enjoy our sport today.
I'm Paul Peck.
And I'm Sue Nawojski. We want to see you out here bowling for the top spot on Beat the Champ.
So get to any of our great host centers and get the details on how you can be a part of the show and be our next winner.
And don't miss any of the action here on MSG every week.
Yeah, so check out the show next week or get out there and qualify and be our Beat the Champ winner. Beat the Champ is sponsored by Storm, the Bowlers Company, and by the Bowling Proprietors Association of Western New York. Stop in and enjoy our sport today. A 248-233 win over Nick Kightlinger makes Andy Rettig our champion. I'm sure you've said to your bowling team a lot, make your spares, but you did. Was that the key to the win?
Yeah, I think it was. He bowled great, just a couple of missteps with some 10 pins, and that was the difference.
You feel like you're in a little bit of a groove right now?
I'm still here.
he is still here, Sue, isn't he?
Yeah, well, you've had a lot of experience and you've been in this position before, so I was pretty confident that you could step up and make a good shot, which You did. You were rewarded for it. So great bowling today.
Yeah, so we're going to see Andy Rettig again next week against 3 new competitors. Make sure you join us then when we return to the Town Edge Bowling Center, West Seneca, New York. It's Beat the Champ, presented by Storm.